Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a comparison review of the Bottega Veneta Jodie bag versus the Intrecciato Hobo bag. This Jodie bag I just got new from boutique last month, and this Hobo bag is a vintage version. This is the vintage Intrecciato Hobo bag, which is one of the first really popular designs from Bottega. So the vintage Intrecciato Hobo bag got really popular again because of the release of the Jodie bag. So I thought that a comparison video of these two bags would make a really good comparison because they're basically the same size. This Jodie is the small version, while this Hobo bag is called the large back in the day, and this one is the vintage version from the early 2000s. So I thought these two bags are very similar, and I thought why not make a comparison video on both of them. But before anything else, if you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm trying to reach 3,000 subscribers this year, so if these are the types of videos that you like watching, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to connect with me in my socials, it's at JishDLF. So here is the vintage Bottega Intrecciato Hobo bag, and this is actually the main reason why I ended up getting a brand new Jodie. Because if you've seen my past videos, I've mentioned that I wasn't really into Bottega before. I know it got really popular again because of the Jodie, but I was never really a Bottega girl until I decided to try buying a vintage Bottega bag. Back then, I was never really a fan of the weaving. I thought that it just looked like a plain boring bag because it was just like so simple. But I first chanced up on a caramel vintage hobo bag in the medium size, and I mainly liked it because of the color, which is why I bought it. But after experiencing the leather of the vintage Bottega bags, I was just like, oh my gosh, I need a brand new version of this because the leather was just so soft and supple. Like even for this one, it's just so beautiful. I just fell in love with the Bottega leather. These vintage hobo bags really made me love and appreciate Bottega, which is why I ended up with a Jodie because I wanted a newer version of the hobo bag. Currently, I have both bags stuffed, so as you can see, like there's some droop to it, but normally like the vintage one without the stuffing, it would just be like a flat bag. And this Jodie, it has some stuffing as well, which is why you can see like it has some droop to it as well. So off the bat, the main differences you can already see would obviously be the weaving. So the weaving of the vintage version is smaller. This is the classic weaving of Bottega, while the Jodie, as you can see, already has the bigger weaving as so. Now the weaving of these two bags is actually one of the main and major points that I wanted to discuss, because what I really noticed is that because since the weaving of the vintage bags is smaller, it's more tightly knit and there's less area for it to have spaces. So as you can see, like no matter how you like angle it or like no matter how much the shape changes, you don't really see any gaps in between the weaves because the weaving of this is so small that there's really no area for gaps. Like no matter how much you change the shape or fold or whatever, like there's just no gaps, as you can see. Turning this back around, you can see that no matter what you do to it, you don't really see any gaps in between the weaving. However, that's the main thing that I noticed with the Jodie is that it actually has a lot of space in between weaves when you like turn it around or when you stuff it. Like it ends up having some gaps in between the weaves because the weave is bigger. So the strips of the weaving has more space. Thus, there are some angles that, I don't know, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but like there would be some gaps. It would show some gaps because of the big area of the weaving. Pardon the shape because I didn't really stuff it to the fullest, so it's kind of in a weird shape. But here, do you see it? Like there's some gaps. Like for sure it would create some small gaps in between weaves depending on how it's stuffed. So I'm not sure if you can see it on cam, but like I feel like it's really minor, but there's more spaces in between weaves versus this one. Now, it's not necessarily like a negative thing. It's just that I feel like the wear would be more obvious because there's more space for the weaving to move around. I hope you guys can see it. If not, I'll try to post pictures of like the spaces in between weaves when the bag is not fully stuffed. Also, because of the bigger weaves, I feel like there's more potential for it to curl. I think that's something I've read also because the weaves of the Jodie are bigger than the original Intrecciato Hobo. It has more tendency to curl. general, because yeah, the area is bigger, and because the area of this bag is big as well, there's more potential for wear. And yeah, I really feel like there's more potential for the weaves of this bag to curl more, which will resort to more obvious signs of wear and tear in the future. Whereas with this one, imagine this a bag from the early 2000s, and because the weaving is so small, you don't really see any wear and tear. Actually, the wear and tear of this bag is mostly just due to the color, because it's a light color. But even if it's a light color, as you can see, like, it looks really pristine, and that's because the weaving is so tiny. So the areas for it to have like wear and tear, it's very minimal. So for this specific bag, even if it's a large size, the only wear and tear that it has is on the corners. It has some scuffings, just like very light scuffing, it's not even that dark, on both corners. And of course, for the handle, it's slightly dirty already and has some scuffings, but that's basically it. When it comes to the weaving, everything is still pristine, because yeah, there's smaller surface area for it to have wear and tear. Next that I want to talk about is the zipper, because that's another big part of this bag that is so different from the Jodie. So for the zipper of the vintage versions, it's so smooth. Like, as you can see, even if it has like this shape, it has like a slightly curved shape, right? The zipper of this, it's so smooth. You can just easily open it and you can easily close it. Open, close, open, close. It's very smooth, and I don't know if it's because it's vintage and it's already been used a lot, but this is definitely like really smooth leather, and there's space for it to move. Whereas for the Jodie, the lips of the zipper, as you can see, it's so like close to each other. There's almost no space for the actual zipper to move around. So to compare, this is what the zipper of the vintage version looks like. As you can see, like, you can see there's space of the actual like zipper, and then before the lips, because these are the two lips, right? These are the two leather lips before the actual zipper, and you can see there's space there. So it's very easy for it to like open and close, because yeah, there's space for it to move around. It's not so tightly knit. But this one, look at it, like, you can barely see the zipper on this because the leather lips are so close together. So this one is definitely hard, and I don't even want to open it like right here, because if you're too harsh with this, like, I can't just open and close this. It's gonna like ruin the leather top, the leather lips. So this is something that you have to be very careful with when you open the bag. You have to do it like really slowly and like pull it upwards, so you can see. Because if not, you're going to scuff these two leather parts, the leather lips that are so close together. The zipper is going to scuff those two parts if you're not careful with it. So every time I open this bag, I'm just like really slow with it, because there's potential for scuffing on the zipper part. So that's something to be very cautious with if you have the Jodie. And also, I noticed that the zipper is not as smooth as the vintage version. Again, I don't know if it's just because it's new or if it's because of the shape, because it's like a circular shape as so, that's why it's harder to close. But yeah, the zipper isn't as smooth. I mean, it glides, but it's definitely hard, and yeah, this is something that you can't zip mindlessly, or else you're really going to ruin the zipper portion of this bag. Next is the interior. For the vintage version, it's just this very soft microfiber interior lining. It's very luxurious. It does have a pocket inside with like the brand tag. It's a pretty spacious pocket, so you can put a lot in there, but that's basically it inside. While for the Jodie, it's an all leather interior, so it's the same leather color as the exterior. It just has the Bottega Veneta stamp inside, and then it has the same spacious zipper as so. So with regard to the interior, I feel like both are of the same quality. At least for the Jodie, it's a leather interior, so you really get what you pay for, and you get a lot for your money. But the microfiber on the vintage isn't so bad either, because it's really great quality as well. And then I want to talk about the structure, because for the vintage version, it doesn't really have much area to it. It doesn't really have much space on the bottom. It's really flat, matte when you look at it if it's not stuffed. And even the actual shape of it, it's really just like a flat plane for the shape of this bag. It only really has some depth to it when you start filling it up. So for this bag will not really stand up, or if it does, it's something that you really have to like angle, and like you really have to put a certain amount of items in it for it to like have some shape when it stands up like this, because normally like it would just fall like that. However, for the Jodie bag, as you can see, because it does have a lot of depth to it already as it is, like the actual shape of it, especially how it droops, even with like minimal stuffing, this is the type of bag that can actually stand. So if I just set it down as so, it's a bag that will stand up on its own, and it actually looks really nice just standing up like that. I'm not sure if like over time, once the leather has softened more, if it's gonna have a harder time standing like this, but I thought that this is something that's really nice with the Jodie, because it just looks really nice and architectural just sitting like that, like say on a random table, or when you're out, you just put it down as so. Like I love how the handle still stays up like that, and yeah, I just love the overall shape of it. So it's a bag that can definitely be like slouchy, but it can also have some structure to it depending on how you stuff it and how you angle it as well. Now, usability and function wise, I feel like these two bags have more or less the same function. In terms of ease of use, I feel like they're kind of similar. I just feel like the vintage version is a little bit easier because again, the zipper is smoother. So when I'm out doing errands, it's just like really easy to open the zipper. But since the zipper of the Jodie is a little bit harder to open, what I normally do when I'm out doing errands is I just leave the bag like half open just so I won't have to struggle when I'm like doing errands. So this is usually what the bag looks like. So half is open and then half is closed. Or sometimes I just leave it open because it doesn't really matter. This isn't a bag that's prone to pickpockets because it's under your arm anyway. So if everything's under your arm, no one's really going to be able to get into it if the zipper is open. So for ease of use, if I'm planning to do like a lot of things that day, I just leave the zipper open and it's easy for me to like get my stuff in and out. And that's the same with this one. So this one, I can also leave it open sometimes, but then again, I don't really have a hard time opening the zipper of this. So closed or open, this bag is fine with me. And finally, I want to talk about the certificate of craft because as you know, the newer Bottegas have a certificate of craft, which is like a lifetime warranty for their bags. So I showed that in my unboxing of this bag. But because this is a newer bag, of course, it would have a warranty. And that's the perks of the new Jodie because it has a lifetime warranty. So you just have to present the card with it and they will honor any repairs that it needs during its lifetime. Whereas the vintage versions, of course, didn't have that yet. However, because of, again, the tightly knit weaving from the vintage ones, I can say that this doesn't really even need a lifetime warranty anymore because this is from the 2000s. Can you imagine that? And it's still in like really great condition and like none of the weaving has come out yet and there's no significant damage to it whatsoever. But it's just good to know that Bottega really stands by its product, which is why the newer versions, even if it's already tried and tested, that the vintage ones will last a lifetime without really falling apart. It's good to know that they added that reassurance just for the peace of mind of the customer. But overall, for these two bags, I would say that they are very similar in quality. Actually, I feel like the Jodie has even slightly thinner leather than the vintage version because I don't know, like there's just something about the leather of this. It's just really hard wearing. And as much as with regard to like the thickness, I feel like the strips of the weaving of this, it's more or less the same thickness as the vintage one, but I don't know, there's just something I think about the leather of this vintage version that it just really seems hard wearing. But we don't know because I haven't really tested out this new Jodie yet. I've worn it a few times and so far it's been good. But this is something that really has to be tested through time to see if the leather quality of this is as superior as the vintage versions. But in conclusion, both are great bags, but I feel like if you don't really have the budget for a Jodie yet, I feel like the vintage version is definitely something that you can consider because in terms of quality, they are up to par. Just make sure that you get a piece that still has good wear and tear as this one. Because again, it is a vintage bag, so especially for big hobos such as this, a lot of them tend to be beat up already. So I feel like if you're able to chance up on a really good preserved vintage bag, then you should take your chances on it because honestly, like, yeah, I feel like like they're more or less the same quality and they both give the same vibe. This is just really newer and it has a certificate of craft. And of course, like if you want the Jodie look, this is just a really different vibe versus just the regular hobo. Although they both serve the same function, but quality-wise, I think that they're pretty much the same. So definitely, if you don't have a budget yet for the Jodie, I would definitely recommend the vintage hobo version because yeah, it's just great. You're going to get the same vibe, the same feel, and the same look, almost at least, for less than half the price. But again, Jodie is also amazing as well, and I'm really happy to have this bag and watch it grow with me and watch it wear as time goes by. So that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button down below to help the YouTube algorithm. I'm trying to reach 3,000 subscribers this year, so I would really appreciate it if you guys could hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to connect with me on Instagram, it's @TrishDLF. I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Bye!